"What's this button for?" asked the not too bright character just before he pushed it and found out. How many movies and TV shows have that cliché moment when people do something really dumb that ends badly? Most of the time, the character is portrayed as unintelligent rather than uninformed. But in real life, it's usually the opposite. In my experience, smart people do stupid things simply because they or we weren't thinking or didn't get enough information before acting. For far too many of us, it's the enter button on the keyboard when we've written something we will later regret sending. Yesterday, we saw how Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, died because they viewed the Ark of the Covenant as some sort of magical talisman, sort of like a glorified rabbit's foot that would bring victory in battle. Their biggest problem was that they didn't understand or respect God. They foolishly believed the Ark had some kind of inherent power that would work against their enemies in some kind of magical way. They dishonored God with whom all power resides. The Ark was holy to God and supposed to be holy to his people, but it was still just a wood box covered with gold. It had no power of its own. But their neighbors, the Philistines who captured the Ark, were just as ignorant, if not more. Treating the Ark as a magical item, they tossed it in their temple as a tribute to their god Dagon, who obviously was more powerful than Yahweh since he had led them to victory. Imagine their shock when they found their idol face down bowing before the Ark the next morning. Of course, they hastily set their god, a carved image, back up on his pedestal and tried to keep it quiet. But the next morning, they were even more shocked to find it in the same place bowing before the Ark, this time minus its head and hands. 1 Samuel 5, verses 1 through 4. As if that wasn't enough to get their attention, every city that housed the Ark suffered plague-like afflictions that prompted them to move it from place to place. Eventually, they realized it was connected to the Ark and developed an elaborate scheme to get rid of the Ark that would show once and for all whether it was mere coincidence or an angry God. In truth, it was the Lord who, angry with them for misunderstanding and dishonoring him, was forcing them to return the Ark to Israel because he was not through with Israel yet, 1 Samuel 6. It would be a funny story if it wasn't an illustration of how foolish and ignorant smart people can be. None of the Philistines ever rose above their magical thinking and connected their problems to Yahweh. Trapped in their pagan mindset, they never could see beyond the Ark to Yahweh himself. In their mind, the Ark was a magical talisman that was unhappy about being held captive. They never figured out what the button was for. Sadly, few of the Israelites ever figured it out either. Today's religious world is just as foolish and ignorant and hasn't figured it out either. Just look at what they do and listen to what they say in the name of God. Most of it is pure magical thinking. The important question is, have you figured it out, or are you trapped in pagan magical thinking? Think carefully and compare what you say and do to what God's Word tells us to say and do before answering. Well, thanks for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until tomorrow, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.